Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a full first round mock draft. Happy draft day to everyone, as that's when this is going to come out. And I'm going to do what I would do for every team. And without further ado, let's get into the mock. So first off, we have the Jags at number 1. This is a very debated pick, but if it was me, I want to play it a little bit safe in Jacksonville and just get a guy who I know can contribute, and that's Aiden Hutchinson. Just extremely good prospect, not to the caliber of other number 1 overall picks, especially an edge rusher, but very good player. I wouldn't hate Trayvon Walker there, honestly, but Aiden Hutchinson is my edge 1, and I'm going to take him there. Now at number 2, the Lions, I'm going to go with a guy who is my edge 2, because I believe in the importance of that position, and that is Kayvon Thibodeaux from Oregon. I've seen a lot of people have him fall, and that's definitely very possible. As again, this is not predictive in any way. I don't think I'm going to get very many of these predicted at all, but I love Kayvon Thibodeaux, and he would be my pick at number 2. And the Lions need a lot of things, especially I think edge could be replenished, and I think that'd be a great pick. I think that'd be a great pick. Now at number 3 for the Texans, this is a position where my number 1 tackle is Ike Mekwonu, but for the potential that Evan Neal has and the long-term nature of this Texans rebuild, I'm going to go with Evan Neal. I love Ike Mekwonu, and we're going to see him off the board very soon, but I think Evan Neal fits what the Texans need more as a right tackle, first of all, and as just a guy with, such a crazy athletic upside that he has time and less pressure to, become that franchise tackle right away. Now at number 4, this is where Ike Mekwonu goes off the board to the Jets. He fits their scheme so perfectly with all the zone they run. Him and Mekhi Becton would be the nastiest duo in the league. Even if you put Ike at right tackle, or you move Mekhi over there, or you put them both on the same side with Mekwonu at guard, that would be insane. If left tackle and left guard, you would just run left every time and go 17-0. So that's just a slam dunk pick for me if I'm the Jets. Now at number 5, the Giants, they know what the Panthers want behind them. I think, they're trying to get tackle and they're trying to get edge. So edge can wait a second. You've got Jermaine Johnson on the board. You got Trayvon Walker on the board. And so you're going to take Charles Cross right here in front of the Panthers to the Panthers' dismay, because Charles Cross is a very good prospect. I believe he's been training at right tackle, and the Panthers would, if I'm the Panthers and he's there at 6, I'm taking him every time, but he's not going to make it there, and 3 tackles are going to go off the board at 4-5, or at 3, 4, and 5. And now if you're the Panthers, you're kind of panicking here, and I took a lot of time to make this pick, but since I'm not Matt Rule, because Matt Rule is, if they don't do good this year, probably going to get fired. Their GM, I'm not sure how secure their GM is, but I assume it's kind of the same position, so they need to win now. And since I'm not in that position, and if I can just draft on who I think is going to better this team the most, that's Malik Willis. Again, I don't think the Panthers will draft Malik Willis as much as he's the best quarterback in the class for me. He needs time. He needs a year to sit, and I don't think Matt Rule has that kind of time. But Malik Willis, very good player, and that's what I would do there. Now at 7, we have the Giants. Again, it worked out well for them because all those edge rushers are still on the board, and we are going to go with a guy with insane potential, and that's Trayvon Walker from Georgia. This guy, he's in such a weird position on media perception because of he's projected to go number 1, and some people like it, some people don't, but that's kind of people that don't like it are now believing that he's not good at all. It's weird. He's probably a top 5 caliber prospect at a big time position, but I think these tackle needs, especially because of the depth at edge, is gonna let him fall a little bit for me. Because, the tackles after these top 3, let's look. Bernard Ryman is all right. Tyler Smith kind of projects more inside. Trevor Penning, I'm not a huge fan of. Zach Tom is fine. These guys are these are no one that's going to start day 1 for you, most likely. So, got to get Trayvon Walker there. The Giants just killed it. Charles Cross and Trayvon Walker would be a slam dunk for me. And now we are to the Atlanta Falcons, who at number 8 are in a bit of a tough spot, as they would like to get an edge rusher or probably an offensive lineman here, but I'm going to go with not my receiver 1, but a guy that I think can be their receiver 1 and take over and just kind of carry an offense by himself with the help of Kyle Pitts, of course, and that's Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. He's electric. He's super refined and consistent. He is just a fun player to watch. I'm more a fan of his teammate Chris Olave, but don't get it wrong, Garrett Wilson is an incredible player, and I think this is definitely a place where he can go. Now at number 9, we have the Seahawks on the board, and we're going to go my best player available, and that's Cincinnati Sauce Gardner, my CB1, although it's pretty close, and I'm just a huge fan of him. He's a very good player. He can help lock down that secondary. I know they haven't been a huge fan of taking DBs early, especially corners, but him falling to 9 is really good value for me, and I can't pass that up. Now at 10, we're going to follow that up with another cornerback, and that's going to be Derek Stingley Jr. to the Jets here at number 10. Again, a very good player, very talented, and they're not in win now mode, although they definitely could be. I've seen, with a receiver, they have a lot of talent on that roster, but getting a CB1 there to, pair with like Bryce Hall, and I don't remember who else is in that room, but it's not terrible. I think it'd be very beneficial for them. Now with the football team at 11, this is a spot where we're going to go with another top flight receiver that's going to fit their system, and that's Drake London. Jameson Williams I like a little bit better, but they have Terry McLaurin to kind of be their deep threat. They have Diami Brown as a deep threat, in their rotation. And Curtis Samuel, still with speed. They need a big body guy. And as much as I love Jameson Williams, Drake London fits them more, at least what they need right now. And especially for Carson Wentz, getting him a big target like that, I think will be very beneficial. Now with the Vikings at 12, this is going to be a bit unexpected. I think definitely a spot where I might consider taking Jameson Williams. I know they have Thielen and they have Justin Jefferson, but why not get another one? I know they, still need to compete, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help them compete, and I'm going to take Zion Johnson from Boston College. Just pretty much a perfect, guard prospect. Maybe that's a little bit high praise, but I don't see him busting. I think he's just so good, and I know guard is not the most valuable position ever, especially at pick 12, but I like him so much, and I'm willing to take him there. Now at number 13, we're going to end the fall, if you're going to call it a fall at this point, of Kyle Hamilton. Very good player. Texans need just talented guys, and he's extremely talented, and I think he'd be, a good piece. They lost who went to the Chiefs, Justin Reed, and Justin Reed obviously is a different role than Kyle Hamilton, but again, who we're getting for the Texans, Evan Neal, Kyle Hamilton, both just tons of potential, and I'm happy getting them there. Now for the Ravens at 14, I cannot pass up on Jordan Davis, one of the probably top 10 best players in this class. Falls a little bit due to teams not really needing him and needing, some other things. But Jordan Davis with the Ravens would be so much fun. He's exactly what they need in that run defense. And again, he's so talented, just a one-of-one player. And I would be very excited to see what he can do in Baltimore. Now at number 15, we're going to end the fall of Jameson Williams and the Alabama, I guess not Alabama teammates ever, but 2 Alabama receivers are going to link up, him and Devontae Smith. They do different things. Obviously, Devontae Smith has a ton of speed too, but that would be an incredible duo, and I could see them dominating for years to come in the NFC East. And the Eagles are still, in their rebuilding. They made the playoffs, but they're building for 2023 and beyond, I think. So if Jameson Williams doesn't come back right away, that's not the worst thing in the world to me. And I'm happy letting him get all the rest he needs and coming back next year and just being absolutely electric. Now at 16, we're going to go with a guy who my receiver one, who finally fits the team he's going to, and that's Chris Olave to the Saints. Again, Chris Olave kind of does what Devontae Smith does. Devontae Smith was my receiver one last year. They kind of just are very similar, and you could get 2 of those guys, that's fine, but I think I wanted him, getting a big play threat like Jameson Williams, and I love Chris Olave. He's going to fit the Saints well. Him and Michael Thomas would be a great duo, and I think the Saints are needing guys so they can contribute right away. I think I had him mocked to them in my 7-round series. So good fit, I think, and very talented player. Now the Chargers at 17. This is a pick, might be a bit of a reach, but for what the Chargers need at receiver, I just cannot pass this guy up, and that's Skye Moore from Western Michigan. He can do everything they need him to do. They have Keenan Allen, who's very good and consistent. They have Mike Williams, who is, he's a big play threat, but not a ton of speed. But Skye Moore is fast. He's just a little bit undersized, can catch really well. He can run routes really well. He's just so dependable. And I think, maybe you don't want to, keep some other guys for as long. And I think he would just really slide into that receiving core super, super well. Now at 18, we're going to end the fall of a guy I love a lot, but it just didn't fit for me up until this point, and that's Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. You could take him. I wouldn't hate taking him. I'll say in my predictive mock, I have him going at 4. I would take him to a lot of these teams, but the fits just felt too good, and I had to let him slip a little bit. But the Eagles, with Jameson Williams and Jermaine Johnson, probably 2 top 10 players in the real draft, in my opinion, that's just a slam dunk, and they've still got 2 first-rounders next year. Now at the Saints at 19, we are going to let George Karlaftis off the board. They've got Cam Jordan, and they've got Marcus Davenport, but I think getting another rotational guy in there just because you don't know how long, contracts are definitely a big deal, and I want to just keep getting players that can contribute right now. I don't like tackle that much. I know they need one, but I don't know if I want to take Ryman here. So I'm just going to go with one of the best players available, and that's George Karlaftis from Purdue. Now at 22, the Steelers, I think I've been mocking him there a long time at this point, and that's going to be Desmond Ritter to the Steelers. I love Desmond Ritter. He's my QB2, and I think he's so talented. And even if he doesn't start right away this year, if Mitch maybe gives him a little bit of something, I'm fine with that, letting him learn. He's very pro-ready, but he just needs to develop his accuracy a little bit, just develop some, smaller parts of his game, and I think he just feels like a Steeler. He has, that culture, that presence they look for in their culture, I guess, and I would love seeing him there. Now, at 21, this is a pick that the Patriots will not make, in my opinion. I could not see them making this pick, but if I was their GM and I'm changing some of their tendencies, I'm taking Trent McDuffie. They like their bigger corners more, and Trent McDuffie's a little bit undersized, not to a fault, but a little bit smaller, but he's so versatile. You could put him at safety, you could put him at slot, you could put him at the boundary. You could do anything with him, and maybe they will if they want to drop him back, but I love him so much. He's my CB2, actually, and just so talented, and I'll be very excited to get him there if I was the Patriots. Now, at 22, the Packers are going to take a receiver. So this is definitely more what I would do and not predictive. So they're going to go with Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, a guy that can hopefully be their X. He can do everything. If you can just, get him with the, get him set up with your quarter, with Aaron Rodgers and other receivers. He's so talented, and people are saying, he's getting all those A.J. Brown and Debo comparisons. I think at worst he's Laviska Shenault, which is still a good player. And I love Treylon Burks as an Arkansas fan, and I think he's going to be so talented, and the Packers, I think, would be a great landing spot for him. Now at 23, I have the Cardinals future-proofing their roster a little bit and getting Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa. Rodney Hudson was kind of not there for a little bit, and then now I believe they've re-signed him, but he is not the long-term answer. He's been a great center over the course of his career, but he's not the long-term answer. And Linderbaum, I think, can come in. Maybe if he could beat him in a battle, honestly, with Hudson getting up there in age, and right away be a great center, and I think he would fit the Cardinals very, very well. Now at 24 for the Cowboys, a pick that feels very Cowboys, and that's not in a derogatory way, as people do love to make fun of the Cowboys, but it's Kenyon Green. He's just such a good offensive lineman, and we know they've been building that offensive line for so long now, and they got to replenish it as some of the guys are getting up there in age. There's some holes now, and Kenyon Green would just be a great value here. He falls so far, especially PFF has him ranked like 40th, but he's so talented, and I'm a big fan of him. So now at 25, we have the Buffalo Bills on the clock, and they're going to take Devontae Wyatt from Georgia. Him paired with like Ed Oliver and those other guys on their defensive line would be so exciting. It's really just best player available for them, and I like him a lot, and the Bills just need good players, and it's as simple as that. Now at 26, a pick that I think is so Titans, and that's Tyler Smith from Tulsa. I don't care if he plays tackle. I don't care if he plays guard. He can play wherever he wants, but this guy is a mauler in the run game, and we know what the Titans do. They run the ball with Eric Henry, and they run over guys. So they have just nasty guys on that line, and he would fit right into that culture here at 26. I think it's just I don't know if it's actually going to happen, because they could obviously, I think they could go receiver. I think they could go, if an edge player falls, and I think they could go quarterback. I don't think that would be crazy. If, somehow Malik Willis is sitting here at 26, I take him 10 times out of 10. Probably, pretty close, a lot of the time with Desmond Ritter. So definitely a great pick for the Titans if they're trying to keep this roster going, maybe try to compete this year, but for the future, I could definitely see them getting a quarterback. Now, at 27, we have the Buccaneers on the clock, and Andrew Booth Jr. would be a great pickup here as their cornerback room was just destroyed by injury last year. Obviously, you don't expect that to happen again, but with a couple of the guys, I only think 2 of their corners, or maybe just 2 of the guys on their secondary, are under contract after this year. I mean, you need another guy, and he's talented, so maybe you can feel fine letting Sean Murphy-Bunting walk or letting Jamel Dean walk. Or, I believe they just re-signed Carlton Davis. You still have Antoine Winfield at safety, but Andrew Booth is a great player, and picking him at 27 is great value. And if you're the Bucs, just getting, again, probably best player available. Very happy doing that. Now for the Packers, one that I would be very not happy if they made, because, my Chiefs are right behind it, but that's Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. Super, super underrated. I want him to go to Kansas City very badly, but he's so talented, and they filled some big needs. Obviously, they could use another offensive lineman, but Ebiketie's too good to pass up on at 28. They got Treylon Burks to go with him, and I think that's just great value. But now for the Chiefs at 29, these are ones I took a very long time on, but my first pick, as it's been for a long time at this point, and I'm hoping he falls to the Chiefs, and that's George Pickens. Pickens is so talented. I mean, I can't understate it. He's fallen a little bit. People are saying he has off the field concerns. I don't think it's all that serious. I mean, you can see in some plays he does a little bit after the play. He can get into a bit of some kerfuffles, you could say. But I love the player. I think the Chiefs are, and they take guys like that. They're going to get into after the play shenanigans. I mean, think about Marcus Peters with the Jets flag incident. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, that's a classic. And I think George Pickens he's exactly what the Chiefs need. We have everything but an X, because I like Marquez Valdes-Scantling to kind of be a rotational deep threat. I like Mecole Hardman to do the same thing, and they can kind of swap out. And then I like Juju in the slot. And, maybe Cornell Powell comes in and contributes. We still have Josh Gordon on the roster. I mean, there's a lot of decent players there, but I want George Pickens. And George Pickens, if he falls to Kansas City and they don't pick him, I'm going to be very disappointed, because, again, he's exactly what we need. Now at pick 30, this is one that I've gone back and forth on, and one that I'm just not sure I don't know. I'm just trying to take best player available, and even though there's so many good edge rushers here, as a David Ojabo elitist and believer in his talent, even though he's not going to play right away, which kind of sucks because the Chiefs are in win now mode still with Patrick Mahomes. And I love Boye Mafe, but David Ojabo is my pick here. And I think his talent is just so ridiculous. Before the injury, I think I would have had him going top 15. I think he's that kind of talent, and getting him at 30 because of an injury that's maybe not even going to last him the whole season. He could come back maybe for the playoffs, maybe earlier. I think that would be incredible value. And as much as the Chiefs do need a corner as well, we need a receiver, an edge rusher, and a corner. And as much as I could get a lot of these other guys, we have 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks. I like corner depth, and David Ojabo is somebody who I'd like to get in the second round, honestly, because I think there's a very high likelihood he will fall out of the first round, and if he does, I want the Chiefs to move up and get him. But very big fan of him, and I'm super excited if he gets into our building. Now for the Bengals at 31, no Tyler Linderbaum. Kind of sucks for them, but they're going to get themselves a long press man corner, and that's Kaiir Elam from Florida. I love Roger McCreary personally to be, a good press man corner, but Kaiir Elam's a little more versatile, better athlete, and I think he'll go a little bit higher. And I'm a big fan of him. And the Bengals need a corner. They don't say it here. They don't need a guard that bad. Like, their offensive line is fine right now with Ted Karras at center. Linderbaum would be my pick if he was here, but they need a corner, kind of most of all. And their needs, I try to be, pretty in the Bengals community, so I feel pretty in the loop there, and I think Kaiir Elam will be a great fit. Now, at 32 with the Lions, do we take a quarterback here at 32 and you get those 5 years? No. No, we don't. We're going to go best player available, and we're going to grab Devin Lloyd here at the end of the draft, and that's going to wrap it up. Lions just going to get the best player on their board. I think they need a linebacker. He's very, very good, and getting him at 32 is just great value, and then you have 34 to, keep getting, more needs. So here is our final mock draft. I'm going to be able to see all of it, but very happy with how this went. And again, this is what I would do, not predictive in any way. And I want you guys to let me know what you think of it. And, if you want to see my quarterback rankings, my edge rankings, my corner rankings, any of the, a lot of these receivers. I have videos out on all of them. If you want to see your own team's 7-round mock draft, that is out. Every single team, I think, at this point as well. So just going on the channel, look for it. It's, it's latest for, I started at the early picks and went later. So if you have a later pick, it should be pretty recent. So let me know what you think of this, what you want your favorite team to do. I want to kind of get into the draft community. What do you want your favorite team to do? And I will see you guys in the next one. Happy draft day to you all, and may your teams, get who you want. Peace.